Hello, hello, my Let's Keep It Real people. I was just thinking about you the other day because somebody said to me, "How long have you been podcasting?" And before I bring Ken in, who's sitting there patiently waiting in his warm island, but that's a whole nother thing, I think I was been doing it for 17 years. Okay, it was radio, so it just transitioned into podcasting. So it's been a beat. It's been a while. Ken, what do you think of that, man? That's a
Man,
while.
17 years. Listen, Matt, hats off to you. That is consistency and dedication.
I used I was thinking about it because originally I started it when I owned health clubs, but I wanted to get to meet what I thought I called the powers to be, the people that were really making the changes in mental and physical well-being that maybe
Right.
won't pick up the phone for me, but I could interview them and say, "Hey, I'll bring you on my radio show." And I continue doing it because I learned so much from my guest, and I love every minute of it. All right, so let's bring
Absolutely.
in Ken Attard. Let me tell you a little bit about Ken. Ken is the founder of Mindset Malta. After successfully working with various clients over the span of 20 years, Ken now specializes as a mindset consultant, specifically helping doubting entrepreneurs who sometimes think they are not good enough. Everyone has those moments to escape the mindset of uncertainty using his part. Oh my God, I always say I can't say this word. Last time I got it wrong.
That's why you can't say it because you keep saying I can't say it.
No, proprietary, proprietary,
Oh, just
proprietary.
say his own method.
No, I will overcome this. Proprietary ARC method, you discover the true power of mindset and restore inner worth. And side note to Thomas, do not cut that out. Helping you shift your mindset to create the results that you desire is without a doubt one of his biggest passions in life. Ken brings to stage his personal experiences not only as a mindset consultant, yet also as an entrepreneur, father, and human being like the rest of us on this planet. Glad to see that you're not an AI bot. I love my AI bot. I call him my joy bot. He has a firm belief that life is not meant to be difficult or a continuous struggle, yet it's meant to be fun and flowing. As I say, ease and flow, full of new experiences that are fruitful, abundant, and inspiring. We have nothing in common, as you can see. His fun and easygoing manner comes through in the way he conveys his message, which allows you to feel at ease and be empowered so that you ultimately get the results you want. Yay, Ken! Woohoo! All right, before we get into it,
Enough about me.
enough about you, enough about me. No, I had to give him a full picture. You get to pick one word that best describes your past 30 days, and then you have to tell me which word it is that pops in your head.
I'm gonna go with growth.
Okay? I'm listening. Because you went
Yeah,
ice
that,
skating in on an island that doesn't go below 60 some degrees Fahrenheit.
well, I believe that. Well, okay. So, as an aside, with regards to that ice skating, so they set up a temporary rink here. So, for those of you listening here, I live, in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, bang in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea on the island of Malta.
Hence
What-
the Malta method. Yeah.
Yet born in Toronto, Canada. So I was on skates when I was 4. Yet I moved to an island that doesn't have ice.
Hey.
Okay, so talk about adapting and pivoting. Anyways, yet I used to play hockey and I was on skates, since I was 4. So when I get the opportunity, I just love it. So I believe that I was part of manifesting
The ice rink.
this temporary ice rink that they started to do over the course of about the last 4 years.
Okay. So
So
that's on
growth,
the growth because you've
no,
been
that
skating. So why growth?
growth, because I was, in all honesty, I came up against some very interesting challenges recently that really hit me at my core, where I um, really had to go deep within myself and actually allow myself to be vulnerable, allow myself to allow myself to recognize, look at what I've learned and really put it into a really, really strong way of practicing that. I practice it on a daily basis. Yet, like I said, there were some particular things that I was going through that I felt I really, really had to go deep. And I was very grateful. And the gratefulness and the growth is because I could see how I could shift things very, very quickly as well.
Mhm.
So understanding that, getting a deeper and growth because I got an even deeper understanding, being let's say it if you want to say being right in the midst of it all. Now,
Mhm.
I mean, I've had various challenges throughout my life, without a doubt, as most people do. Yet this was very particular recent. You mentioned the last 30 days, and for me, that was tremendous growth.
I'm so glad you talked about that because there's so many people out there that are amazing human beings and are great life coaches and mentors and entrepreneurs. And they think they should be on the other side of it. They'll say to me, why don't I know this already? You know what I mean? I should have this down. I practice this every day. How could I have self-doubt as an entrepreneur? I mean, look what I've accomplished. And for me, it's like, I'm not done till I'm going to my next life. I mean, it's just constantly evolving. And it's the difference is when I'm not joyful all the time, I'm just joyful more of the time because I reset there quicker because I've had these practices in place every single day. But it doesn't mean it doesn't go at times, whoa, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's really interesting because for me also it's about like I agree with you 100%. Being to realistically to say that you're going to be joyful all the time, that's that's a challenge in of itself, and could cause quite a bit of resistance in of itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not healthy, not
and
healthy.
what was interesting for me as well during this period as well, and these during these challenges, is still in moments through those challenges finding that joy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that is what is key, and that I think that is also what is key into being able to shift the results, the experience, whatever it is that one is going through, to be able to shift that quicker.
Yeah, yeah. I was some of the other, well, well-meaning, let's call them. We're going to go with well-meaning relatives said to me, why do you
Okay,
always answer the phone so happy? What do you have to be happy about?
because you don't want to be too happy, right?
And I said, nothing and everything. I don't know. I don't know. Like there, nothing in
And
particular
you know what I would have asked, I think?
and everything.
How would you like me to answer?
Oh, that's a good one.
How would you like me to answer? What would have been your preference?
I'm gonna write that down. Do that. Okay. So I want to back up a little bit because you
Sure.
mentioned Canada, island, middle of Mediterranean. They're going to want to know why, when, how, what
Uh,
happened.
oh,
I don't
okay.
know that order, but you grew up in Canada.
Yes, well,
Not like you went to, Washington
so
State.
so my parents are both Maltese.
Oh, smell it too.
So my parents emigrated to Canada, lived there for 16 years. I was obviously there, and I probably my dad more than my mom decided, you know what? I think I'm done with the shoveling of the snow and the cold. I think I want to go back where the
We're in
sun shines
Canada. We're in
300.
Canada. We're in Canada.
Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
So I was 14 when I moved back here. So I've been in Malta now for like 45 years, 46 years now.
Okay. Now, because everyone's going to be like, why Malta? How did you pick it? What made you go there?
Well, I was 14. I really didn't have much of a choice.
Right. So your parents
Yet,
went back there. I
yeah,
got
my
it. I
parents
got it.
decided to come back. Now let me make something very clear. And it's funny, I look back and I say, like, I didn't have much of a choice, obviously.
At
Yet I think my
14.
parents made the decision at that time because it was just in time. I think had they waited another 2 years or 3 years, it would have been much more challenging for me to actually come back as well. And I had I put up no resistance to it because we used to come for holidays to Malta to visit family every 2 or 3 years, and I had great vacations. So I had great memories, and I figured, hey, we're going on a permanent vacation. Little did I know I was going to be facing some really interesting challenges when it came to education, when it came to learning the language. I had to learn the language. Not everyone speaks English here, yet
I thought it
I
was
did have
wonder.
to learn.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
You speak, is it Maltese?
That's it, Maltese.
Made
That's
that
it.
up. I didn't know, but okay. Right.
Yeah, it's a
So
Maltese
say
language,
something.
has its own language.
Can you say something?
What would you like me to say?
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here
Uh,
in your way.
well, it's fun, and I'll tell you why it's funny because we actually use
It's
that word a
difficult.
lot. No, you're not difficult. كيف انتكم كلهات؟ كلهات طيب؟
Oh, I like that. How about where's the bathroom? Basic things.
You're gonna laugh now. فين التوilet?
Oh,
So we
okay.
throw in English words as well sometimes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if I was proper Maltese, فين الكاميرا tal-banju?
Okay. So on a daily basis, what do you speak?
Mostly English, believe it or not. Depending where I am at, again, there are going to be occasions where I'm going to be speaking in Maltese. Yet, believe it or not, mostly in English.
Okay. And how many people are there?
We are now at about, I believe, about 550,000 on an island that is 120 square miles.
Oh,
So it's a very densely populated island still. Probably one of the most densely populated per capita in the world.
I'll say. Okay. So I have so many questions, but that's a whole nother
with
podcast.
with with 3 million tourists a year.
That's how I was going to go. How many people come? And what is it?
3 million tourists a year.
And how many? No, no, forget that. What's the tourist season?
Tourist season, it's longer now, but yet usually the peak season you're going from April till October.
Okay. And when they choose Maltese, like what is the main attraction there? I mean, I know it's an island. I get that, but like, why would they choose that island versus another?
Well, it depends. It could be sun, sea, nightlife, history. There is a ton of history. We have temples here that are older than the Egyptian pyramids.
Now,
So,
see, that would be awesome.
I mean, our capital city, which was built, the surrounding walls of the capital city were built by the Knights of St. John, and the whole city in of itself is a heritage city. It's recognized as a heritage city.
Okay. So when you go out your door,
Mhm.
out your business, are you always running into beautiful strangers because there's so many tourists?
It's become very multicultural without a doubt over the last 25 years, more than ever. So, and yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I'll go for a walk, and it's funny. It'll be more challenging to hear the Maltese language than many other different languages, believe it or not. It's like, where are the Maltese?
Yeah, yeah. I get that. Well, I'm going to hold off on my rest of my questions because otherwise we'll get nothing in about why we're really here.
Yeah.
But I like first, and you're my first person ever to live in Maltese.
In Malta.
Maltese.
Maltese is the language.
Oh my God. Wait, let's go back to what was the other word? Wait, I got to get it. Hold on.
Proprietary.
Proprietary.
There you go.
Okay.
You did it.
What? That's because you said it first, proprietary. All right. Now, I think this is a big one. When Ken and I spoke and we talked about what tips and what he would like to talk about and how he differentiates himself. I was fascinated by your first tip because I think it's very, very, very difficult for most people, which is you have to be willing to unlearn what you have potentially been, I like the word fooled to believe. Let's just even go, I think it's, and I've studied this for so long because you've believed it for so long, it's freaking scary to think, oh crapola,
Yeah,
you mean this is not the right or not right for me, or telling the brain, mayday, mayday, we're going to switch gears. The brain doesn't like that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's what you've learned. And that is, and essentially what happens is again, you've been taught certain things from a very young age through school, and there's some really great stuff that you've been taught and some very resourceful things that you have been taught. Yet being willing to, when I talk about awareness, which is actually the first pillar of the ARC method, when I talk about awareness, I used to talk a lot about being willing to learn new things. Yet I've come to discover that it is actually the unlearning, which is almost more important first, simply because you have learned certain things, you've heard them over and over, they have become beliefs. It's as simple as that. They've become beliefs. 95% of what you do throughout the day is unconscious. You don't even think about it. You just do it day in, day out. Probably wake up on the same side of the bed every day, go through the same routine in the morning every day, brush your teeth with the same hand every day. Whatever it is, just doing it automatically, not even thinking about it. So if that's the case, and you're 95% of what you're doing all the time, like how is that happening? Well, those are learned behaviors, whether you've taught yourself, whether someone else has taught you those behaviors, whether someone else has installed those beliefs for you. And they are beliefs. Those beliefs become your habits. At 95% of what you're doing, they're just habits.
Right.
So when someone actually comes to you and says to you, wait a second, but someone's taught you that the color of this top is blue, and you believe that it's blue. I'm here to tell you, you know what? Potentially this isn't blue. This is a different color. This is more like a purpley color. And you're like, what are you talking about? I've always been taught this is blue. And this is where it comes. This what comes into this a lot for me, and is one of my pet peeves, is the part where people have been fooled that to be successful, it has to be a struggle. It has to be a sacrifice. It has to be stressful. All of these wonderful, wonderful things. There has to be continuous suffering.
Correct.
And think about it. Even the way we were conversing before, and I was saying to you about the fact that this past month has been growth.
Mhm.
Someone could potentially interpret that as like, I like to use the word challenge, but someone might be saying, well, that's the struggle, that's the suffering, it's a challenge. I don't have to suffer through it, and it doesn't have to be continuous. What is really interesting is they've been most entrepreneurs and individuals alike have been fooled to believe that those things equal success, the suffering, the sacrifice. So what happens, which is really interesting, is that this is how a lot of entrepreneurs will self-sabotage themselves, because then the minute the business becomes a little more flowing
Mhm.
and easy, all of a sudden the entrepreneur is going, hey, wait a second, what's going on? This is way too easy. This isn't supposed to be easy. The mind is now looking in search for the struggle, the sacrifice, the suffering. Where is that? Because that's what I'm used to. Those are the emotions I'm used to. And you look for it again, and you create more of it. I want you to shift that belief and begin to understand that your entrepreneurial journey does not have to be a continuous struggle or suffering. There are going to be moments of challenges without a doubt. Yet, what if you could start to focus on looking at it and saying how you can have a more impactful business, how you can have a more inspirational business, come from a place of inspiration, coming from the heart, rather than all this suffering and sacrifice. So this is where many entrepreneurs have been fooled because and again, because we hear it so often, even the no pain, no gain. How many times have we heard that? No pain, no gain. If you believe that, that is what your reality is going to be. And you can have it. I wouldn't take it away from you if you're good with it. Yet if you could have a way that was a little more easier, you use the word flowing. And if there was a way for you to tap into a something that is much bigger than you so that you can actually begin to receive that inspiration, receive the ideas rather than chase them. Because many entrepreneurs are chasing, and they're chasing something that is never going to give them. This is the thing. They're chasing something external outside of them that is never going to give them the joy, the satisfaction for very long.
Mm.
And this is where the internal work needs to take place, because everything you desire, everything you want actually lies within you. Yet you've been fooled to believe that it doesn't lie within you, it lies outside of you.
Let's hold up there because I know my
Yeah.
peeps are gonna be like, hold on, Mayday, Mayday. All right. I want to get my notes up here. I've been taking scribble scrabble notes. I want to make sure. I just want to recap so I understand correctly. I like to say it back to you. The biggest thing when you're talking about a belief is just a thought you've been thinking over and over again. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. Just thought, okay, fine.
Yep.
Whoever taught it, you taught it, whatever, it got there. Okay, fine. Some of the beliefs still serve you well, and some of them don't. Correct. Okay, fine. So the belief, let's stay with the entrepreneur, that in order to be successful, it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of struggle. It's got to be hard, yada, 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 is almost every entrepreneur I know. Almost everyone, not all of them. I have a few go, no, man, I'm not doing it that way. Why does it have to be that way? I mean, you have especially younger people coming up. They're like,
Yep. Because they come in with a different consciousness. Absolutely.
Right. And so if you believe I'm not going to be successful unless I go up and down and struggles, that's what it's going to be. But I want to back up a little bit and talk about what I get a lot of questions on. Let me make sure I call him Billy Bob. In that this guy is a motivational speaker. And he said, hey, Ken, I get where you're coming from. But I'm going to say when most human beings don't seek growth until they hit, as he calls it, a rough patch. That when we have true growth is when we go through a struggles, which is you can't avoid in life. Most are not, and he has it in big capitals, going to have major, powerful changes in their life unless they're so fed up from something that has happened in life. I like this, how he stops it. Please address.
Yeah, well, I
Billy
am
Bob, thank you, Billy Bob. I like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it's a great question. And it is, and at no point am I ever going to say that you are not going to have your challenges.
Yeah.
I actually call them, that's why I like to use growth. I call them growth spurts. That is when you are going to have growth spurts. What we're saying here is, and so even when you're looking at a challenge as a growth spurt, you are looking at it as something positive.
Yeah.
You are not looking at it as something negative. It is a movement forward. So absolutely, without a doubt, you're going to have your challenges. That's why you're here. You're here to have these experiences. Some of the purposes of the purpose of your life is to have the experiences here as a human being And you're going to go through these various challenges. And some people will go through, and people will go through different challenges, whatever their path is at that point in time.
Mhm.
So yes, you're gonna want to have those growth spurts. And what's so beautiful here is what he's saying is, if you can recognize that you're gonna have these growth spurts, that there are going to be times that you're going to go through certain challenges. This is where, again, this is where allowing comes in and trust begins to come in, so that you can actually still feel an element of joy. I feel very grateful that these challenges that I recently have, that I was able, and I am able to go through these challenges because they are growth spurts. I'm growing. And not only that, I'm going to be able to use that experience in the line of work that I'm in, to use that experience to be able to teach and teach from experience. Because it's one thing to teach because you read a book, it's another thing to teach from experience and what you've experienced. So I look at it as being the challenges do not have to be suffering. And yes, you'll have your lower points. And for me, it's a continuous. So
Yeah.
your lower point today potentially was your higher point 3 years ago. And my higher point, did you get what I meant
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
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 So it's a continuous growth. So as you said, and I now I can recognize how when I do have my lower point, one of the biggest differences because of the dedication towards learning about mindset and how it actually affects the results and experiences is the duration. The duration can be far less now because now there's an understanding, and I think this is really, really core. And we're not going to we can't get into a ton of detail today, is the inner worth part. When you truly understand that your inner worth is never, ever compromised, this is a game changer. Because for the most part, people are associating their inner worth with the meaning they are putting on the
Mm.
situations and the circumstances. See, the suffering, and I'll address this with, and it was Billy Bob you said, I believe.
Bob, make up a name. Billy
So
Bob.
so the suffering is not the situations and the circumstances that you're going through. The suffering is the meaning you're putting on
Yeah.
the situations and the circumstances. So recognizing that is a game changer, because now, okay, I'm going through this. I'm feeling like crap. I'm going through this. I'm feeling like crap. Okay, but in actual fact, why am I feeling like crap? Because I'm saying, I should be much more successful by now. I should be at this stage by now. And it's just the meaning I'm putting on it, rather than taking a step back and actually looking at it and saying, okay, what's the learning point from this? What is the actual circumstance? How can I start to shift and focus so that I can actually begin to move forward? What is the growth from this? My inner worth, not compromised. Who I am, never be compromised. Can't take that away from me. Nobody can. Nobody can take it away from you or anybody. Once I know that, then I just look at I say, okay, I'm growing from here. I'm learning from here. It's a challenging moment, but it's just a moment.
I think that it's going to help Billy Bob and a lot of other people. Thank you, Billy Bob.
Great question.
So I got a lot of questions on this one, and I want to just, you can always reach out to them. I'm going to just condense it. But over and over again, we'll call it from Sally Bell. And I like the way she said this. She wants a refrain on this. Dear Sandy, when you're chatting with Ken, tell him the way I was able to confront my beliefs, the thoughts I keep thinking over and over again, as you talk about all the time, is by letting myself off the hook, meaning that, hey, I believed it then. That's what I knew. I don't beat myself up for having that belief. That's what I was taught. I didn't know to challenge it. As years have gone by, I go, I don't know. Is that really working for me now? And it's okay that I did that over and over. She said many people she works with have a difficult time because then they think they screwed up their life.
Again, this comes back. Yeah, great
And I love
question.
that she's saying that, you know what I mean? Because what she's
Yeah,
doing is saying, it's okay, I believe that way, versus there are many people that they really challenge that belief. They're like, oh my God, this is the core of who I am, versus, well, it's okay, that's who I was. And I always say, well, does it serve you well? If it does, God bless you, keep going with it. But if it's not, it's okay.
this is the beauty of it. In actual fact, you can't get everyone's an entrepreneur to me because we're in this business called life. And we're in this business called life.
True.
And and beliefs, people have different beliefs, and that's fine. I think it's phenomenal that she can recognize and have the awareness that, hey, this is no longer working for me. Yes, potentially it worked for you a while ago, and
Yep.
this is change is always happening. And you can be good with that because again, and I'm going to use the inner worth again, and the end is that it's never compromised. It's not going to change who you are.
Nope.
That was a phase in your life. Like if I look at my life now, my priorities now are not the priorities that I had when I was 18. They're different.
I hope so.
Some 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 core values may still be there. And I think it's important for people to look at their core values and recognize what their core values are, because many times they're just compromising their core values without even realizing it. Yet, your beliefs, you can be good with whatever happened, happened. And I like to mention this. This is really important. What you believed then, or however you were behaving then, you were doing the best that you could do with what you had, what you knew at that point in time. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you just have a little more clarity, potentially more awareness. Maybe you've done some work on yourself to recognize, hey, this doesn't serve me anymore. I'm doing this now. And being prepared when you're making the shift that you're going to have some, what do I want to use here? You're going to have some withdrawal symptoms. I like because you have with those beliefs, your body has memorized those emotions that go with those beliefs.
Yeah.
So I like to use the example, at this time of the year, especially now, people are, they say, they want to make shifts in their health and they want to, change the way they're eating or whatever, which is phenomenal. And that's great. I suggest that people take small steps and not beat themselves up, which will tie this in with when you potentially fall down again. That's okay. Yet I want to remind you as well, because you've your body has memorized those emotions. You're making a shift, and today you say, "Oh, I'm going to have salad today," right? But your body's going like this. But hey, where the heck is the pizza, man? It's pizza time. It's not salad time. Your body's going, no, 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 no. What's going on here? Now, this is what's so beautiful about the conscious mind. This is where you go, wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's the old Sally. Sally's not eating pizza today. Sally's eating salad. You got to be conscious of it because you want to be the one in control. You're the master of your mind. And you do that once, you do it again, you do it again. And now you're shifting the belief system until you create a new belief. And if you do fall, whoop-de-doo, you get up again the next day.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep. I agree, Ken.
Well, I hope so.
No, beat yourself up. What were you thinking? Eat the pizza. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Eat the pizza too, once in a while. Why not?
Everyone, I was at a party recently and they were all talking about what diets they were going on, or
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't, now it's not word diet, lifestyle, eating,
Lifestyle.
way of eating. They're doing the same, it's the same thing. They're just
Yes,
packaged.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go, and they're all looking for what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, I'm on the C plan. And then they're like, what's the C? And they're like,
Whatever I see, I eat.
I eat it. And I would say, start laughing at it,
Yeah.
trying to make, light of
We
it.
call that the seafood plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Seafood, I eat it. There you go. Sure. Okay. Ken, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you being on Let's Keep It Real. And I just want people to get every single way possible they can reach out to you, to work with you. If they're not calling to, I'm not going to say Maltese, Malta,
Well, they can catch a plane.
and join the 550,000 people in a 120-mile span.
We still have some open spaces. We got lots of sea. We got lots of sea.
Get a boat, live on a boat. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of friends have done that. All right. So anyhow, how can they find you, reach you, hang out with you?
Well, one thing that I'd like to offer anybody who's listening here is I have a short free online program which is called the Mindset Choice, the choice that changes everything. So if they just head on over to growth for the number 4 entrepreneurs.com, they can get some information there. They can register directly there for that program. And the way I have this program set up, potentially I'm also going to be interacting with you potentially in real time, depending where you're interacting from. But I'll definitely be interacting with you personally, even though it's an online program.
Gotcha. What
And
time is it
recorded.
there right now?
It is right now, it is 7:45 in the evening. So I'm
Okay.
6 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can definitely get that. I highly suggest that, and they get some really cool information, a cool program. They can absolutely get in touch with me by email if they'd like to at ken@mindsetmalta.com. So very straightforward there as well. They can find me on LinkedIn, Ken Attard. They can find me on Facebook, Ken Attard. Instagram, Mindset Malta. Facebook, Mindset Malta. So there's a number of ways that they can get a hold of me, whatever they want. Well, you said every single way.
I
They
did.
can come over.
Wait.
Can come over by ship.
Yes, they can. Question. Am I making this up? Is there a Maltese dog?
There's a Maltese Terrier. It's called a Maltese Terrier.
Okay.
Yes.
Did it come from Malta?
I don't know if the origins is from Malta, honestly. I'm not sure.
It has nothing to do with the show. I'm just curious.
I know. Yeah. Hey, well, it's Let's Get Real, right? So, hey. Hey, there's the Maltese Falcon.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're my first Maltese.
We film a ton of movies here as well. Gladiator 2 was just filmed here.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, even the original one was.
Awesome. That's way cool. That's
Yeah.
a good claim to fame. It's as good as Rocky for Philly.
There you go. There you go, right?
All right, my Let's Keep It Real people. We got to get out of here. Thank you so much, Ken, for being on the show. Ken and I really appreciate you liking it, rating it, and sharing the episode. It really does make a huge difference. I love you guys. You're the bomb. Thanks for supporting me all these years. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time, toodles. See you, Ken.
See ya. Thanks.